afternoon, and they cleaned us up nicely. And we have today for our guest Dan Wood.
Hey, I'm Dan Wood from Draft to Digital. We are out of Oklahoma City, or at least I am. It's supposed to hit 93 degrees here today. Just out of nowhere, just this heat front moves in. So a little bit different weather than Alaska.
So what you're saying is your snow has melted.
Yeah, I think we got snow while I was away in Colorado. I went to Colorado Springs for Superstars Writing Seminar. The only day we got snow this winter that I'm aware of, and it snowed. My house was nice and pretty with snow, and then it was melted by the time I got home.
Oh, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. We had I think 16 inches, 14, 16 inches in the last 4 days.
Wow.
And now it is 24 degrees, so the snow won't melt for a while. But that's what we are. And it's Fairbanks. We've got October snow still here.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that like snow, so we haven't gotten a lot in the last few years, and so it's kind of been weighing on me. I did when we were in Colorado Springs. I did get to see a lot of snow, so that was a lot of fun. So
okay. Well, we'll have to bring you up for a 20 books Alaska event.
This needs to happen. Like I want to see Alaska, and there's not a lot of reasons to go up there. So
that's yeah. I come up for a couple days show and then see the Northern Lights, stay for a couple extra days, try to go to Chena Hot Springs, which is completely shut down right now, by the way.
Yeah.
They had to shut down. And that's, I wrote a whole book on 4-book set with Chena Hot Springs as one of the main places. And it's, they kept enough staff there to keep the geothermal power. They're completely self-sufficient. They've got greenhouses. So hopefully all the stuff they're growing, they have a pretty robust production. All the stuff they're growing, they can ship it back to Fairbanks and sell it locally. That would be
excellent.
great.
Yeah.
I hope
I imagine shipping up there is going to be affected by all this, and
we're at the end of the line, man.
More local you can have, that's great.
Yeah, if it doesn't get to Anchorage, it definitely isn't going to get here.
Yeah.
So here we are. I wanted to talk about the state of the industry. You have your finger on the pulse. We were just talking about everything that's canceled. Can you tell me what is going still? Writer conferences and stuff.
So like I mentioned, for us, just about every in-person conference has canceled through the month of September. So there's still some stuff in September where they're waiting to see. But yeah, like the summer is kind of gone, which, that's a large part of Draft to Digital goes to a lot of conferences. And so that's a large part of our time. So that's kind of scary to think about. And, it stinks not being able to be in person and talk to people. But it is what it is, and we're glad people are listening to the government and the officials and everything. So what's going on is we're seeing a lot of virtual conferences. Like people are trying to take the speakers they had lined up, and they're trying to do something virtual so that you can kind of have an experience. I think certainly like what you're doing now with having these every day is people kind of want something to break up the monotony of being at your home for 24 hours a day. And so we're seeing some of that. We're planning next week on having some of our industry friends on and just talking to them. And probably after that, interviewing a couple of authors and just seeing what they're doing during this time.
Okay. And September, NINC is still on as far as you know?
Yeah. Haven't heard anything otherwise. That's always one of my favorite conferences. I'm really hoping NINC and 20 books are going to be where we can do everything we've normally done. So,
except the handshakes, the hugs, the sloppy kisses. Except
none of the sloppy kisses. That's going to be out.
Oh, man, crushed. And for 20 books Vegas, I am going to make a final decision in August in regards to refunds, because at that point. The way PayPal works is 180 days from when you pay. It's one button easy to issue a refund. Beyond that, to give a refund, I actually just have to send money, and then I'll subtract the PayPal fee. So if some cataclysmic like round 2, round 3 comes rolling through in October, and it's like, no, we have to cancel, then I'll manually go through those refunds, because I'm not going to take anybody's money. I'll accept some donations because we'll have spent a lot of money at that point. But I'm thinking August, we will know pretty much for sure that we're cool for Vegas. I really goddamn hope that November is clean and clear, and people will be ready to get away from their kids. I mean, go out and have a self-published conference and talk
Definitely.
about publishing.
Yeah, we had a great time at the first self-publishing show live that Mark Dawson put on in London.
Yeah.
So that was great. I'm kind of glad we got that in right before all of this went crazy. Those conferences are such a good opportunity for people to learn new business strategies, but also just the camaraderie, like getting to know other people that are like you and in the same place. And there's so many people that was their first conference, and so
yeah.
It's sad. It's sad to me that people are missing out right now, but no one could have predicted this event. And we knew that pandemics come and go, but this has been kind of out of just blown all of our minds because we kind of gotten lucky the last couple of things that looked like they might become a pandemic like this.
Well, and that's when we were talking with Mark Dawson in Bali, and he floated the idea of an SPS or a self-publishing formula show in London. I was looking at all the pain and grief for doing shows in the UK from the US, and it made sense. We said, we will support you 100%, whatever you need. You take Europe and that area, you do a show, we'll come over. And I canceled at the last minute because I'm high risk, so I didn't want to risk it. But Michael did go. A number of LMBPN authors showed up, and it was a good time was had by all. Now, this we'll do Vegas for stateside people and anybody who can get a cheap flight to Vegas. And Mark, he's already committed to doing next year a 2-day show for SPS, so that'll be great. We'll be coming to that again and help out in any way we can. So that's I think between those two, you get pretty much everything you need and access to as many people as you need. Because Vegas, we're going to have 80 to 90 industry reps this year.
Yeah.
Last year we had, I think, 52.
It's been great. For a long time, NINC was really the only place you could go and expect to have a lot of the industry people available to you. And now we're seeing that grow, and 20 Books has that. And I think we'll see also with Mark's conference. There are several of us that meant to go. A lot of us still did go, even though the travel situation was crazy.
Yeah, and that's good. What are you sensing? We talked about sales before we went live. What are you seeing from Drafted Digital's perspective across the different different distributors in regards to sales?
So overall, we saw kind of that first 2 weeks of March, our sales did go down I would say about 15%, somewhere around that range. So it was things were down from the previous year. This last week or so, things have really, really picked up, and especially libraries. We're seeing our overdrive sales have just been growing quite a bit. We think that's there's a large number of people that are home that are looking for entertainment for themselves and their kids. So that's kind of exciting to see. I kind of anticipate that's going to be the way things are. Like this whole having us all on lockdown is going to be good for the digital side of the industry, both across ebooks and audiobooks. I think the scary parts of it is what it's going to do to the print book system. I know for a lot of us, that's not something we're concerned about, but it's probably going to really play havoc on Barnes & Noble as a brick and mortar store. All the brick and mortar stores in London that were already kind of walking a fine line, all the indie bookstores. So I think it's a good thing overall for people to start moving towards digital. I think that's been a long time coming. But when you think about like the supply chain, so many printers in China and so many publishers use printers in China, that's all been disrupted for a while. The paper chain's been disrupted. Shipping right now, Amazon is kind of limiting things to more essential items and pushing non-essential items out. And so really strange. One neat thing we saw is I think the 22nd, which I think was a Sunday, Apple sent out a general notification on iOS that they had a lot of free books and free audiobooks in their Apple bookstore. And we saw a huge spike in downloads on that day, and we've seen better sales since then. Good. And so it's neat to see Apple kind of get more serious about their bookstore. As far as I am aware, that's the first time they've ever sent like a general, like, hey, we've got books on sale. And so that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. That's odd. They
Yeah.
usually it's you wonder how, hey, you're in the ebook business, but you don't ever contact your readers and let
Yeah.
them know.
One thing I would recommend, like if you've never checked out the Apple Bookstore and you have like an iPad, an iPad Mini, iPhone, they've got a lot of kids books that are kind of read along books, Sesame Street books that are are free right now. They've got, I would say, probably 50 books, audiobooks that are on sale for $5 or less. And so it's a good time to kind of check out their storefront.
Nice.
And get a feel, and also just have some content for your kids if they're bored, or yourself if you're bored. So
That's good to hear. When I was talking to the head of Apple Books, a flute conversation, I was able to give him a call, and I was like, "Hey, it looks like BNN is not doing well." This was before they sold, and he said, "If BNN goes under, that's not good for anybody."
no.
Even though Apple has zero interest in Barnes and Noble, just the industry as a whole, they're like, "That's not good. We need BNN to stay alive because it's better for the whole industry that people do have an outlet." Because anytime you can convert a Game of Thrones watcher into a reader, everybody wins.
Exactly.
Because it's once you start reading, you find out, oh man, maybe the book is better than the movie. Maybe let's try this other book. Hey, I watched the movie. I like the movie. Let me read the book, see what else happened that they didn't put in there. I mean, you got to read Harry Potter to see what the house elves really got shorted when it came to the movies.
Yeah. And it's also a lot of traditional publishers. People frequently don't realize the print book chain of supply is kind of consignment. And so when Barnes & Noble buys those books, if they don't sell them, then the publisher has to buy them back. Often they just destroy them after that. And sometimes they ship them back. If Barnes & Noble goes under, it's going to cause a lot of traditional publishers, probably even one of the big five, to go bankrupt. And so is that a good thing for indie authors? I'm not sure. But I agree with you. The more bookstores we have, the better for making people into readers versus people that sit around and play video games or watch Netflix all day.
Yeah. And get the hell off Netflix if you're watching, because it's slowing down my internet.
Yeah. Stop Netflixing everybody right now.
Yeah, sandy little buttholes. All right. I lost my train of thought. With Drafted Digital, what kind of are you running any promotions right now?
Yeah, we are doing quite a bit of stuff recently. We had a big one that we emailed everyone using us to go to Overdrive. Overdrive is trying to offer books to library systems at a cheaper cost. And so we emailed everyone to see if they want to take like a lower payout in order to be a part of this promotion. And it's going to get a lot of extra attention during this time frame. It's running at least through April 30th. Just providing, making sure
up there. I think that's on my end. I'm showing one, but we'll be back. There we are.
Okay. Yeah. So the Overdrive promotion, it puts everyone that joins it into their cost per checkout, so that your book is going to show up in more libraries. Multiple people can check out your book in that case. Normally with library purchases, they purchase one copy. They pay extra because they're going to check it out to multiple people. But while it's checked out, only one person can have it. With the cost per checkout, multiple people, 10 people can check it out all at once. You get paid a little bit less per checkout, but you have a lot of more volume that you can get to. So we're pretty excited about that. It runs through April 30th, and then we'll email people if they decide they want to extend it. They're kind of watching how long we're all on lockdown for. Baker and Taylor reached out to us. They're another library vendor. We're going to be reaching out to everyone listening to Baker and Taylor about a 50% off promotion and that other model where they just buy a copy of your book. Apple's been running a ton of stuff. We've been helping them line up some stuff for free first in the series, for various romance promotions. And so I think all the retailers are taking this seriously and as an opportunity for them to grow their base and to really help out the community that they are in.
And this is an opportunity. I saw an author kind of bashing people giving stuff away for free right now. I don't think so. I think that's from brand from building your author brand as one who's giving, and even if the people don't read it, it's still, hey, I'm offering a book for free. If you don't have more than one book, I wouldn't offer it for free. But me, it's almost rude not to offer it for free. Or I priced probably a third of my books down to 99 cents. Okay, I'm not gonna profiteer off this off 99 cents because I have to sell 7 times as many books. But it's still, I believe right now it's the right thing to do.
We've seen consistently that series with a free first in series sell about 3 to 4 times the amount that series that don't have it. I always tell authors, you're not competing against other authors, really. You're competing against the video games, the movies, music. You're competing for people's attention. And so with all the other digital formats, they have free giveaways. They have, with Apple TV, you can watch the first 2 episodes of any of their series without subscribing. Netflix has free months. Hulu has free months all the time. And so that's the real enemy, rather than, I know you spent a lot of work on that book and it seems crazy to have to give it away, but it really is, when you take off your author hat and put on your business owner hat, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's the sample people who are no longer in grocery stores, but they give out a free sample of a Cheez-It. I mean, you might say, I can't, that sounds stupid, a cracker that's cheesy flavored. And you eat one, and then you buy like 12 boxes of the Mongo-sized goldfish things that come in pourable containers.
Yep.
Like you pour them straight into your mouth. You don't pour them into a separate dish. Who wants to wash that extra dish?
Yeah,
especially now that you're home all the time. And cooking for your family 3 meals a day. How many damn dishes can they use? I'm sure oh my God, I'm sure there's some wars started over use the same bowl.
It's just me at my home, but man, I've been running the dishwasher more than ever. I'm not a great cook, and so like I'm just dying for all this to be over. I've been cooking like my same 3 or 4 recipes just over and over. I've resorted to just sandwiches, kind of break things up. So,
but you did a 14-day quarantine, so you've already self-isolated for a significant period of time.
Yeah, since I went through those international airports coming back from London, I figured it was a good idea. We're very fortunate at Draft Digital to have. We have a lot of remote workers, about 5 or 6 people that work remotely for us, and we do work from home Fridays all the time. So it was a pretty easy transition for us. Most of our work is very easy to do remotely. How lucky are all of us that we work in an industry where remote is such a vital part of it and such a perk we have. Just how lucky are we that we're going through this with the internet versus, imagine the same level of lockdown in like the 80s. How crazy you would be going with just the 4 or 5 TV channels we had way back in the day.
Yeah. And whatever books you had on hand.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up with a family of readers. I had a very significant collection of books. My brother, 8 years older than me, he had a huge science fiction collection. So I had an almost unlimited amount of stuff to read as I was growing up. And my mom was a teacher, and my dad, self-taught. He was a big reader, always did crossword puzzles. So we had that, but still, I can't imagine what it would be like. Like this, we're able to interact with 39,000 people on 20 books, and then we'll cut it to YouTube later today, and then everybody in the world can stop by and take a look and see Dan Wood's failure at beard control, and my second wear of my shirt, and it still has some cheese residue from when I had cheese popcorn. I am out. I am long out.
I almost shaved my beard entirely off because it's been years since I've seen my face. I was like, this is a good time. Like, I'm not going to any conferences. At the time, I didn't think I was going to be doing any video stuff. Last week we had Dave Chesson on, and so he was sitting in, and I was sitting out for that on our web show. I was like, I better not trim it all off. I'll go down to the Van Dyke for a little bit. And I'm glad I did, because it would ruin my brand entirely if people saw my face with no facial hair on it.
It might. But for the coronavirus specifically, they said that it lives in beards a little bit longer. So just for a safety for when you do start going back out again, it's probably
Yeah,
better.
if you wear the mask, especially, it doesn't make an airtight seal unless you basically trim off all of the facial hairs. So
Yeah, so take care of it. I've been shaving every day, even though I haven't left the room in like 5 days. In the hotel where I'm sequestered.
right.
But it's just I think it is the right thing to do. Um, what do you see the way forward? What do you see for the way forward?
So there's a lot of it that's up in the air, obviously, because this is our response, at least within the United States, has been kind of all over the place. Like it's basically kind of been up to the governors of the states, I believe, and even at the city level, more so than like federally driven. And so like I feel like this is going to be one of those things where it kind of pops back up for a little while until we get to a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a cure, but the
A vaccine?
Vaccine, yes. And so everything's going to be up in the air. I think the number one thing for authors to remember is to be flexible and hopefully to be patient and kind, because our company, every retailer we work with, they're facing these same problems. Some of them were prepared for working from home. A lot of them weren't. And so they're figuring it out on the fly. We're going to see slowdowns. I'm hearing of slowdowns at ACX and approving audiobooks. I'm hearing about slowdowns to the normal KDP times to approve books. We're having slowdowns from our retailers and getting things live. Those things are going to happen. So just be prepared for that. Kind of take it into your planning. And so normally I only have to get a pre-order up in this amount of time. Maybe I should get in a few days early because it's going to happen. I anticipate it's going to be more sales overall for indie authors, digital sales. I think print on demand, people that make a lot of money in print, it's probably going to go down some because a lot of those factories are going to they're going to have to shut down at some point. I know right now Ingram released a statement that all of their printing centers are still open. And so that's good news for the near future. But eventually, people are going to start getting COVID-19 in those areas. And so that'll go down. Amazon warehouses, where their delivery system, they're starting to see some people pop up. And so things are going to slow down and get worse before they get better.
I saw 10 different Amazon warehouses had been infected.
Yeah. We did see like a brief... for a while, we didn't have as many people submitting books. I really think that's as people are adjusting to the new normal, figuring out how do I get my medicine? How do I get my food? They're having to cook for themselves as opposed to order out. Most people have their kids home now. You're going to slow down, and with all of the uncertainty, everyone is going to be reading more news, and so. Don't worry about that. Like if you're one of those people that's kind of obsessing about the news, like that's perfectly normal. But just try to start thinking long-term and spending time writing more. It is a great time to write. You do have to work through a number of other issues, and figuring out how to keep the kids entertained and alive certainly takes precedent over writing your books. But do what you got to do. I do anticipate a lot of the small bookstores are probably going to go out of business during this, unless the different each country is responding differently. But unless there's a huge bailout for small businesses, like small bookstores were already kind of just barely breaking even.
Thin margin, yep.
Depending on how long it goes, we could see something major like the Barnes and Noble having major issues because. Right now they still have to pay rent on all those storefronts, and they are generally in upscale places where the rents are high and they're not making any money. How
long can they survive that before they have to pull the plug? Yep.
Yeah. If one of those major retailers in the US or anywhere else in the world goes out of business, it's going to have a definite effect. Luckily, I think all of us being in the indie author industry, we're in the right place. We're very sheltered from a lot of the fallout from all this. So
Yeah, we're well insulated from a lot of the foibles of brick and mortar and things like that. And this is a prime opportunity. You have got to work out a schedule and a routine and get your words, because at the end of this, whether it's 1 month or 4 months from now, the end of the first wave, the biggest and most impactful part of the pandemic, the people who are writing heavily right now and getting their words and getting their stuff done and starting new series and starting planning promotions 2 months down the road, when we come out of this, they're the ones who are going to accelerate ahead because they're ready for it. If you let this get in your head, your home, if nobody's showing symptoms in your home, you are in a better place. Just take advantage and make the most of it, so that you can be publishing books, that you can be working better promotions, that you can be moving forward with your business. Because if you just sit and lament the fact that, hey, now you're on unemployment and you're looking for a job, yes, you have to do that. But if you get the words, that supplemental income can make a monstrous difference. If you let worry drag you down to the point that you can't produce and can't do it, then then you do have something to worry about. As my dad would tell me, I'll give you something to cry about. So take control of your own destiny and get those words, tell those stories, tell better stories, and be ready to go as soon as you can. I've got a book publishing Monday. I published one last Monday, and I'm going to publish one in like 3 weeks that I need to get the pre-order stuff done on today. And this is has always been my plan, but I was able to move up stuff because isolation and canceling conferences. I had 3 different conferences scheduled for March that I was going to, and not doing them gave me all this extra time. It's like, hey, I need to write the words in. I need to get it done instead of going to conferences, which impact my production time.
Yeah. It's such a great time to build new habits. And so take advantage of having some of your normal, like the things that distract you from your work and your normal life, and just build a new habit, write more, spend more time planning your marketing strategy or your business plan. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Audio is a great time to it's a great time to audio. And Joe Penn, I know she brought that up, that, hey, you need to be in libraries. And it's a different revenue stream, and it's a way to bring money in. All those revenue streams add up. You don't have to make a lot off a single book, but if you can make a little off a lot of books, guess what? That looks like a really good paycheck. Even though it comes from 20 different sources, it still looks like a really good paycheck each month.
Exactly. And I have so many people that are like, well, now I'm exclusive with Amazon. I'm like, you're exclusive with Amazon for your ebook, but you're not exclusive with your print. You're not exclusive with your audio unless you choose to be.
Yep.
And so take advantage of that. Know exactly the ways you can build your business, and have those multiple streams of income will always help.
I mean, I do pretty well with Amazon, right? With Amazon through sales and KU, but it's half my income. So if you look at that, it's like, geez, my overall income, because of all the other revenue sources. And audio, I'm with all 4. I'm with Dreamscape, Tantor, Podium, and Audible. And so these are all different ways, all different noses that they touch with the audiobooks and directing people. And one thing I had failed to do, if you're in the same boat as me, one thing I'd failed to do is somebody said, I was having a hard time finding any audiobooks from you. I found one. I'm like, geez, I have like 60. Mm-hmm. So it's like, here on Tantor, here's the thing. Here's Podium link. Here's the Dreamscape link. And Dreamscape is they're owned by Hoopla. So Hoopla, and which is in the libraries. So
yeah. That was one of the ones I think is going to be doing great for us right now. It's hard to tell because they don't give us daily estimates, and so we'll find out a little ways out from here. But I think that's going to be a really good stream for authors, income stream. So,
yep, I like Hoopla. They have a good business model with that, and they're in the libraries, which is the big thing that you need to access.
It really is. A lot of people don't realize that through Overdrive, you can get their Libby app from Android or iOS. You can basically you just put in, if you already have your library card, you just put in your library card number and you can check out all kinds of things, audiobooks, ebooks. They let you check them out for like a 2-week period generally, I think is the default. So it's a good way for people to check out new content. In some library systems, they even let you sign up from home. You just have to have a local number and I think a local bill that you can like take a picture of, like a water bill or an electric bill, to prove that you live there. And so, do I have questions?
Oh, no, I thought we lost your audio there for a second. Just a question. What's my daily word count during the pandemic? I am for probably the last 3 months of last year and the first 2 months of this year. Well, I had heart surgery. I had heart problems and then heart surgery. I was happy to get 1,000 words a day, and 2,000 was an incredible day. And now I'm averaging 3,300 words a day. Well, in sequestration and still doing stuff. I'm doing an hour video every morning, just to keep people, give them something different. I do a lot of on Facebook, comment on people's posts, just to trying to keep people on the straight and narrow, keep them distracted from the trials and tribulations of all the rest of the news on there. I mean, cat and dog videos. If a doggy daycare farm trip, you need to go to that Facebook page. They have a huge pool and they take all kinds of videos of dogs swimming, and they have a monster pack of dogs they watch. So these are the kinds of things that I'm doing for you. I'm watching dog videos, so I can share the best ones and stuff like that. So I'm doing that. I'm getting my words. I'm getting my good words, and I'm doing a lot of other stuff as well. Pre-order work, other compilations, Kickstarter supports, short stories. I'm almost blind at the end of the day from looking at the screens and creating it, because this is a prime opportunity. There are no interruptions, and it's not just there are none. There aren't going to be any. It's not somebody who's going to casually stop by or anything. Because if you log off, if you get off Facebook Messenger and turn the phone down, so you don't get any phone calls, you call people first on your time, and then you go back to work and get your words and get your business set up. So I have pretty much doubled my word count and then some because of this.
Oh, that's excellent.
And
are you reading a lot more, or what are you doing to entertain yourself when you do take some time off from the business aspect?
Blood and guts videos, like movies.
Yeah.
I did watch True Lies yesterday. The day before. I have Amazon Prime, so I'm like, hey, I'm in a hotel. I can stream. I can't stream at home. So I watched Braven with Jason Momoa. That was okay. It wasn't bad at all. Braven, Braven. That's the name of and it's an Amazon free movie. You get it, watch it for free. I've been watching, of course, always rewatch Serenity like once a month.
Yeah.
Because it's Firefly and they canceled it way too early, the bastards. And movies like that. I did watch Conan with Jason Momoa because that was also on Prime Video for free, and I could have done without that.
Yeah, but, that's not a great one.
No, it's not a great one. But the actress was she was worth watching.
Not too bad to look at.
No, that one that was the highlight of the of the movie. But I like the original Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think it really holds up, like, because
music,
they didn't do a lot of cheesy like effects or anything. Like it even like the huge serpent and I don't know if that's the original or if that's the second one, but it doesn't look too horrible.
Yeah. Now but the musical score was premier. And some of the lines were kind of cheesy, but if you read Robert E. Howard, hey, that was it. It's cheesy lines.
Yep.
The going forward is writing, publishing, and looking for distribution channels and draft to digital. You do some good things. What are you seeing from Kobo?
Kobo's been doing great. It's been our fastest growing channel now for like 3 years running, I believe. A lot of that growth is coming from international sales. We have, so the first 5 or 6 years we were around, about 70% plus of our sales were in the U.S. that has gone down steadily. And so to now it's about 60%. I think maybe even a little bit lower than 60%. So international sales are taking off for us.
Okay.
Australia and Canada tend to be the most after the US. And that makes sense. They speak the same language. UK, Amazon's a little bit more dominant in the UK market than they are even in the US market. And so that's why we don't see as many sales. We do distribute to Amazon, but most people go directly to Amazon. Yeah. We've had an increase in our foreign language sales. For years, German was the number 2 language. This last year, French for us was the number 2 language. Most of that was romance due to romance novels. And so, I would still encourage most people, if you're not a romance author, German's probably the first thing you should look at to translate into if you're going to translate. But it's good to see ebooks take off in France. And so we've been excited about that. I guess France and French Canada. So
that is good info right there, people. And you heard it here first.
Yep.
Romance, French, sell big.
Yeah.
Through Kobo.
And we've seen also Italian for romance. And so generally the rest of the genres follow a little bit behind romance. And so eventually I think we're going to be seeing a lot more people read ebooks in those countries. It's been a little bit of a cultural bias against ebooks, I think, especially in France. And so, but Germany has always been like the number 2 market. They have both Amazon has a strong presence there, and they have their own Tolino storefronts. And so those are all of the German brick and mortar stores got together and made one big digital book retailer. So if you buy the digital book from any of their websites, it works on the Tolino device, which is like a Kindle device.
Okay, good to go. And like you mentioned, thrillers. We have Mark Dawson. Mm-hmm. We have Michael Anderle. So thrillers and urban fantasy are both doing just bang up jobs in Germany, in the German market.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a tough nut to crack, like how to advertise and how to market in those areas.
And these are translated works. These are translated into German works. Yeah.
Which, if you do have English books, I would, and you're not exclusive with Amazon, I would encourage you to distribute to Tolino, because there are Germans. A lot of them do read in English, but most of our biggest sales there are all German works. Yeah. I believe now they've opened up Amazon ads to where you can target the German market, and so that's helped a lot of people with their sales as well.
Yeah, so something I need to explore more. UK, Germany. And I think Australia too, right?
Yeah.
And they opened Amazon advertising that you can target very directly and go after those folks. Australia, unfortunately, I did a price change on a book this morning, and I saw that Australia's down to, for a 99-cent book, it's $1.79 is what Amazon calculates the Australian price as.
How weird.
$1.79 Australian dollars.
Yeah.
So they're almost 2 to 1. So they're losing ground pretty fast.
Yeah. But Australia's been huge for us, I think, because shipping, print books there have been so expensive for so long. They made that transition over to digital a lot quicker than a lot of other countries. And so.
Yeah. One thing that I did, because I publish my anthologies, right? And I do paperbacks of the expanding universe. And I offered, hey, I'll buy your author copies for you since I published them. And most people did that. And one guy's like, hey, I'm from Australia. I'll pay what it costs because I really want this paperback. And Australia has, for authors, if you buy it in the .com store, it has it where you can ship to Australia, and they have a special shipping rate. So I shipped him 5 books, and they're door stoppers. I mean, they're like G.R.R. Martin. They're like 750 pages. And those at 6x9, 750 pages, it was $25 to ship 5 of those.
That's not bad.
Oh, no, not bad at all. And so that was me as the publisher. So that might be something that Australian authors can work with U.S. authors on for that. But you've got to be the publisher. That was the different thing. And as the publisher of that book, but that might be something you can do for Australian fans. If you have a reading group down there that wants to read your book, send them all paperbacks that you can send as author copies, give them a discount, and now you're selling them for $12 or $15, and they get the paperback as opposed to paying like $40 for a paperback.
I believe Ingram now has facilities in Australia as well.
Yes,
for like print on demand.
Yeah, I think they have a print on demand warehouse there. Yep. So all kinds of opportunities wide. What about, because Kobo went into Walmart, made a big to do, and nobody really saw any big sales from that. Is that a kind of a failed project?
I would say so. It's still out there. You can still buy Kobo devices in a Walmart. Just didn't see a lot of increased sales. Like, it's been kind of hard for Kobo, I think, to gain market share in the U.S. because they're well known in Canada. They're well known in certain other parts of the world, but the brand name like Kobo or Rakuten doesn't really have a lot of name recognition in the U.S. yet. Rakuten's been working on that. They're the sponsor for the Warriors, but it's still being a Japanese company. It's just not as well known here.
Yeah. Okay. I think we talked about ebooks. We talked about audio. Talk about a little bit about paperbacks, and if you're doing those, and how you can hopefully maximize some sales of those, and also that there may be a delay. I know Canada has closed its border with the U.S. for non-essential shipments, so maybe your books can't go to Canada. It's not a conspiracy. This is a world pandemic. This is not anybody targeting indies. So please don't assign any conspiracy theories to what's going on. It's a downturn, but I think it's already an upturn. I am seeing. I had a new publication, and I've run a lot of promos this week. But still, all my other stuff, I am seeing an upturn in both sales and page reads at this point in time, and I think that's due to people have established their routine. The readers say, "Oh, okay, now I might as well settle in and read the book." There's only so much, because they grow tired of reading the same thing in the news. More people died. It's spreading, and hey, I just want to settle down with a good book. I write escape fiction, so it's a good thing for people to get away from the trials and tribulations of the real world. So
it seems like people are looking for those escapes. They're looking for happy stories. There is like a large number of people are wanting to read or watch movies about pandemics. And so things that are about that, post-apocalyptic stuff, we're seeing like an increase in. I think we're going to see both an upsurge because of just the circumstances we are in right now, but also just people's behaviors are going to change. I think we're going to see a lot more people realize, hey, this working from home thing, we really can get the same amount of work done, and it has so many advantages. So we're going to see people starting to look at that more and more. I think we're going to see people that had not previously tried an ebook. They're going to try it and be like, hey, I really do like this. Older people, you can change the font size. You don't have to get your readers on. Younger people, it's like, hey, I can have my books with me wherever I go, and I don't have to lug it around in my backpack. We're going to see a lot of people's habits change, and that's going to be a good thing, I think, for our side of the industry. For digital producers like us. So a question there: what do you both think of the benefits of face-to-face conferences for indie publishers? What will draw people back after all this isolation? I think the benefits are you really get to know a person. Like, when you meet them face to face, there's a better connection that you make. We're just kind of genetically hardwired that way. You really do kind of need to meet people face to face. The networking aspect of conferences is frequently, especially like after you've been to a few and gotten most of the content, the networking piece is really where the gold in any conference is. You'll just remember and make stories with people that, no matter how good of a virtual conference you might throw, or if you have like a one-on-one meeting over Skype or over Zoom, you'll just have those fun, weird little moments, like when you're eating and something goes crazy. You haven't experienced anything until you try to eat at that TGI Fridays in Sam's Town when 400 other people are trying to eat there. And so it makes lasting memories of things that you wouldn't expect. There's the drinking aspect of it and just kind of people letting their guard down, because it's fascinating to see. I would say writers, the majority, are introverts, and see introverts kind of figure out how to people is always remarkable and fun, because you're around other people that are passionate about the same things you're passionate about. And so it's just really always a great experience. You never know when someone's going to show up dressed as Deadpool, or someone dressing up on stage as a dinosaur. You just don't know what's going to happen. So
nobody do that. The personal connection that you make. I mean, we make presentations at in Vegas, and then it's later. It's in the hallway when somebody grabs you and asks a really insightful question, and you ask them a question. Well, how did you perceive that? And they tell you, and you have that conversation. You both grow. Yeah. Those are the times. I mean, we make the bathrooms off limit, but we still have great conversations in the bathrooms, and just about anywhere, whether over a meal, whether in a hallway, whether in an elevator. It doesn't matter. People get to see you at your best. People get to see you at when I had that 6 a.m. session. People were looking pretty rough.
What were you thinking?
But they were still there. Idea. I was up, and I just wanted to see. And I had over 100 people come just to listen to me, drivel on. It felt like a good conversation with the folks, and they were engaged. You get as much or as little as you want from the conferences. And I've done all of the different iterations. I've done face-to-face. I've done like here with Dan. But you know what? You want to get to know Dan Wood, go on a tour with him or go hang out at the bar with him and see that real insight. Like what sells better wide? What genre? I'm in this genre and I'm having real problems with Amazon. Well, consider wide. I'm having real problems wide. Well, consider going exclusive. There's all different kinds of options that you can take. And it's your new writer isn't going to be able to Skype with Dan Wood, not right out of the barrel. I mean, Dan's time, he's got a lot of people that he's supporting in trying to make sure that Drafted Digital gets your books as far and wide as they can get. So, and congratulations! I know you've gotten a couple new distributors lately, another few outlets for books.
Yeah, we've got a couple of libraries coming up, and a new international retailer that is going to go online. I think we're starting a beta right now, targeting the French language market. So we're super excited about that. We're now at 200,000 books that we distribute. Those nice. Are books live at retailers, and so just tremendous growth. It's been the last year we've grown faster than ever, so that's been wonderful.
That's great to see. And a lot of that, I would suggest, is because Drafted Digital has a continuous presence everywhere.
Yeah,
as far and as wide as you can get.
We set out very early on when I first went to. I think BEA was the first conference I went to, and then NINC was the second one I went to. Kind of saw that the people in the traditional industry, their goal was to spend as little time with authors as possible. They all dressed in their suits. They all had great, shiny presentations. The agents wanted, specific times authors could meet with them and pitch to them, but they weren't really interacting with the authors at all. And so we kind of set out with our goal to interact as much as possible and to be a part of the community rather than being set apart from the community or set aside from the community. I'm really happy to see what the indie community has become. Now we've got all kinds of industry friends that are out there. They're taking authors out to dinner at the conferences. We have people out for drinks at night. We have karaoke events. Conferences have by far been the heart of our marketing program at Drafted Digital. So really happy to see them continue to grow and more opportunities come up.
Yeah. I don't think you can beat 20 Books Vegas. So we're going to have 135 sessions, for God's sake. And
it's remarkable.
1,600 people. And like last year, Podium came up and said, hey, oh, by the way, if you're a Podium author and you have books with us, we'll take you out to dinner. I mean, those kinds of things. It's the appreciation. It's an opportunity where they come to you because you're coming to Vegas to learn more about your business and help your business grow. But then the industry providers are there too, saying, "Oh, by the way, we want to recognize you, and I'll buy you a drink." Somebody threw their credit card on the on the bar, and I think that might have been Reedsy. And I think Reedsy paid a healthy price for that one too. I'm not sure which bar they
It
put
would
it
not
on, but
surprise me. Ricardo is a generous person and a good guy. So
yes, yes, and I know Mark's event up on the balcony. He paid a pretty penny for that, and Wolfpack's event on the balcony, that was a little spendy as well. So for the Marine Corps birthday celebration on the balcony on November 10th, it's going to be a pay as you go bar. I'm not throwing my credit card on that dude. We have too many veterans, and that's good to see too. But the appreciation, the face to face, what's going to get people back? Because 20 Books Vegas specifically is a good show, and people get an awful lot. People's lives change because of that conference. I think
definitely.
Nink, you're already established, but I think people take their career to a new level with some of the stuff they learn from Nink. And Dan threw out a couple acronyms. BEA is Book Expo America. It's in New York, and Nink is a Novelists Inc. There is a threshold to get in to be a member. You have to have a certain amount of book sales, so that of income and revenue in order to make that as a professional novelist. So that's Nink. I don't think they take nonfiction at present, but that's you
I
have
don't
to
know either. Yeah.
just have to check the Nink site and see if you want to join them. I think it's $100 a year. 20 books of 50K is free. Come and join us, and we have the least expensive conference. Mark's was only 30 pounds though.
Yeah.
He's price gouging me, man. He's hurting me. As of right now, we're still on track with our because Vegas shut down, but so we were going to go. I was going to go at the beginning of April to sign the contract for 2021 and 2022. I am confident that we will be on the strip, that prices will be almost identical. I think we might be able to do it again for $200 and be on the strip and service up to 3,000 attendees. So it's going to be, the rooms will be just a little bit over $100 a night. Well, that was before the pandemic. Who knows what kind of deals they're going to have afterwards? But so the costs are going to be down, and we're only going to reserve 1,000 rooms because it's the strip. You can go stay wherever you want, and you're going to be pretty much within walking distance.
Yeah.
Because this is a strip. It's about the middle of the strip, and it's going to be a good facility tied to a number of other good facilities. It's going to be a huge win for the growth of the show. We loved Sam's. We still love Sam's because we own the whole hotel. It's us. So you see people, everybody's going to have a badge walking around. Everybody walking around is going to be an author or related to one in some way. And it's going to be a great show because it's going to be just us, this whole hotel. You see somebody in the hallway or in the elevator, they're probably going to be an author. And that is really, really cool.
I'm going to miss Mystic Falls, though. That show, it's awesome.
I told them this year very specifically when I was there in February. I said, if you have any scheduled annual maintenance on Mystic Falls, do it during the week of our show. So, and she said, oh man, that is a good thought. I'm like, yeah, no shit. 600, we're going to have all of the people there. A few people are bringing their families, but it's not going to be like where people go on vacation and are there.
Yeah.
So there may not be a whole lot of people watching the show. So hopefully we can get it at least turned down so it doesn't shake the windows every 2 hours. And for 10 minutes, people aren't blocked out of having a conversation at Ramhead Bar. And
it's kind of an experience, though. I think everyone should see at least once.
Oh, well, they have to see it at least once and see the animatronics. But I did ask for Ram's Head Bar to open up about 4 p.m. and stay open till 3 a.m. I know they kept it open longer last year. So let's open it a little earlier. And then people can get a drink or something, and then have a second bartender because I know we overwhelmed them last year. So this is Vegas. They will respond to whatever. All I have to do is throw a guarantee on it, and I'm not worried that we're going to meet any kind of minimums for that.
Oh no, authors like to drink.
It's
coffee.
An odd,
they love coffee.
and get those introverts get one Bailey's down their throat, and oh my God, they become very talkative.
It's true.
Well, looking good. 55 minutes. Hopefully it shuts off and we get today's live stream able to cut over to YouTube. We had a problem yesterday that never shut off. And so since it didn't close out, we couldn't convert it over for YouTube. That was disappointing, to say the least. Any final words, Dan?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. We love the 20 Books group. It's been, just knowing you and Michael and being a part, kind of since the beginning. Like, it's just been great to see all the author education events you've done. People can go to the group and ask questions and trust the answers they get are going to be great answers.
And for the record, Dan was the only industry provider who came to Bali. So I know.
What were people thinking? You have a chance to go to Bali and you don't go
on the company dime. That had to be a hard sell, because I know I talked to a couple others and they're like, "There's no way I could sell that." And but Dan Wood, he was there, exclusive access to now I think 5 7-figure authors. And that
was such a great event. Like, we've all stayed in contact as like a separate little group and had dinners at 20 Books every year. Like, that was such a neat experience. If you ever have a chance to do something like that, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that was it was a lot of work. I could still hear the calls in my whenever the world goes silent. I could still hear Mr. Craig as they're hunting me down to sign something, sign a voucher. It turned out so incredibly well, especially for the long-term effect. That the group is very close. People help each other, and exceptional people like Mark Dawson and Kevin J. Anderson joining us. That made it really, really a benefit. Cabo, March 2021, assuming the world is back, March or April 2021, we're shooting for that. And that'll be a similar conference. I got to relook the pricing. I was initially looking at $7,500 a ticket, and I think we might go a different route with that, where people make their own arrangements at the hotel, because that way you can save if you want, and then have a much less conference fee, like $3,000 or something like that, $3,500. But we want people who it's going to be exclusive. We're going to cap it, and we'll keep it there. I want to see Mark Dawson golfing, because I guess his wife Lucy said that he doesn't golf. I can't. He's a Briton. Come on, there's golf in your blood. Now, I know you're not Scottish, but still, come on, golf. Anyway, we'll do what we can to make that show an exceptional show as well. That everybody is well taken care of, and the conversations are intimate and beneficial, just like Bali. Same thing with Fairbanks. I'm going to run some 10-person weekend events up here, where people come up, just a group of 10 in a similar place in their journey, similar kind of genres, where they're a little bit complementary, but not everybody in exactly the same genre. Right. No, because I think you learn a lot by learning other people. I hate to say it, but erotica, they can't advertise like other people advertise. Mm-hmm. So they know things that you don't know, because like, hey, how do I reach a market? And they know different ways to do it without just relying on Amazon ads or Facebook ads. Yeah. So you can learn something from everybody if you're just willing to listen and ask good questions. And that's what we saw in Bali. That's what we'll see in Cabo. That's what we'll see in these 10-person writing retreat mentoring sessions that I'll run. And I want to do some in Vegas. I want to do some in Cabo. Just weekends away. Because my writing is getting to the point that I can manage. I can do a Monday through Friday writing schedule, still get my books published, and then have a weekend event. I'm still looking for, so not a kind of a shout out. I'm still looking for an assistant who has experience arranging things and can take care of a lot of the details for me in regards to these events. If I have 10 a year, we're just talking 10 people. But Bali was very high maintenance, because everybody had different issues and different concerns, and working with the hotel, that was a huge effort. And I want to just concentrate on the weekend of information. So that's my own pimping my own ride there. And 59 minutes, 26 seconds. I really appreciate your time, Dan Wood. You are a scholar and a gentleman once you lose the beard. So we'll we will talk to you another time. Dan and his team, Dan, Mark, and
Kevin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Kevin actually has a session at in Vegas for this year as well. He had a good session last year on bootstrapping.
Excellent.
So Dan, Mark, and Kevin from Drafted Digital will be there, as well as almost every other service provider. Apple is bringing 2 to 3 people. So the
good luck finding them.
What's that?
Good luck finding the Apple people. They are ninjas.
They are, but they're going to be there, which last year they didn't. They pulled out at the last minute, and they only had one designated to come. So I really look forward to spending a little time with them. All right, people, thank you very much. Another hour well spent, I think, and I hope this shuts off and that we get to preserve this video for all posterior's sake. Have a good one.
Bye, people.